Welcome to Sasha and Goff Live Recorded.
I'm Sasha.
And I'm Goff, and we're back with another episode here. Let's start off quickly by talking about the advertisement space. I'm still pretty excited about this. We had two new entries last week. We had Mike from Melmac sent us Spaghetti Lee, and Shug sent us, a headshot, I guess. And we love them both. However, rules are rules. And Mike, you cheap ass, you only gave us $1. You got to come down this week.
We appreciate you, though.
Absolutely, we do.
You cheap ass, we appreciate you.
For your second donation to the wall. So again, Chris is holding the spot for now. He paid $3 if you want to knock him off the wall. Well, you got to pay $4 or higher, and you can put any picture up there you want as long as it's appropriate. On this show, every episode we do a top 3. This week we are doing our top 3 90s hunks, which is awesome because a couple weeks ago we did our top 3 90s babes. So
Equality,
baby.
for all.
Yeah. Speaking of the bucket, I don't know if you can see it. It's right up here. At the end of every episode, we will drop that bucket, and we'll pick through probably 15 or 20 of them, and then I'll pick out which one I want to do because I have full veto power. So remember, if you want to send us your top 3s,
I got full veto power.
Full veto power. We're canceled. If you want to send us your top 3, sasaandgoff@gmail.com, on Instagram, Sasha and Goff, and on YouTube, sasaandgoff.com.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
I wasn't listening. You know why?
Why?
I looked at the video of last week's episode, and I noticed I spend way too much time looking at you, and it does not do good for my hairline in the sight of the video.
Well, that's funny you say that because
so I'm staring straight ahead for the entire episode. I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm talking to the people at home because
we won't know. We won't know exactly when the other person's done talking. But no, that's funny you say that because last week's episode, on my way over here, I had sunglasses on, so I had like a line like the entire time. It was pissing me off. So if you watched it on there, you're probably like, oh, he put a buzz in the side of his head.
They need to make AI good enough to fix my insecurities.
I guarantee you AI is good enough for them to do that.
No, I understand, but enough for me to be able to understand it so that I could use it on this podcast.
And so that we can pay like $2.99 for an app instead of So how you doing this week, bud?
I'm doing okay. I had a situation that was not cool. It was not cool at all. I drive a truck. You know this?
I do.
And in my truck, I went to a very well-established place that we will call a RedEx. We'll call it RedEx.
Okay.
I don't think you'll know where it is. RedEx. It's a delivery place. It's FedEx, is what it is. I'm gonna forget to.
I was trying to think of a company with like a RedEx for a logo.
Yeah, and this is not against FedEx. But what happened was I went there to pick some stuff up, and there was an accident, and not a bad accident. Nobody's hurt.
Good,
except for my truck.
Uh-oh.
My truck got the brunt of the damage. A guy who's loaded my truck many times. Good guy, very nice guy. I felt bad for him. Good guy, very nice guy, the best guy. But he, I don't know if he was in a hurry or what it was, but he went to load my truck, and my truck is like lower than normal.
Okay.
99% of forklifts fit into my truck.
And when you say low, you're talking about the ceiling, obviously, because you're doing this with your hands.
Yeah, the back of the truck that you load into, the box is like lower than normal.
Okay.
But A, you should be looking at that if you're loading a truck.
Absolutely.
And B, most forklifts fit in there, but this one did not fit in there. Not only that, but he was in a hurry. So he just went and rammed into the back of the open truck and got stuck in between the frame and like the bottom of the so he was stuck in the thing.
Like with the
forklift.
With the cargo
holding the cargo. Okay. But yeah, he wanted to go all the way in to like push it in. He forgot that my truck is too small, and so he got stuck. And so then he backs out, which then like pulls out everything and completely destroyed the top frame of my truck. And I felt bad for him because that's just the type of person I am. Like, I'm not mad. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm okay. I wasn't in the truck, but I was like 10 feet away, and I was like, oh, my neck. Ah!
Yeah.
You know, like, I got to milk it
Get
for what
ready.
I can.
Why are you on the ground already?
Yeah. And whatever, he was like apologizing, and as he should, because he should have, it was his fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he filled out paperwork, and I'm supposed to be getting some calls for a claim from FedEx, and I haven't gotten it after a couple days.
Yeah.
And so now I have to figure it out, and I feel like I'm going to get screwed in the end because
I
I'm
guarantee
too nice.
you're going to have to keep looking into this.
Yeah. So that's how my week has been going. That happened, and
that's speaking of that with forklifts. I used to work construction, and I worked for.
I'm a man. I am Goff.
You're in much better shape than I am.
Great.
But I am a man. I'm Goff, and I used to work construction. But anyway, no, there was one time I was driving a forklift.
Never mind.
I did. I was a bricklayer. Well, I was a laborer for a brick mason.
Laying
company.
bricks and banging chicks.
Yeah.
I'm Goff. I'm a man. I'm a man.
But no, there was one time I was putting not a skid. They just came in like kind of bands, like the bricks. It would be like 500 bricks, and they just had those green, those.
Yeah.
And I was lifting it up, put it onto my uncle's pickup truck, and as I was backing off, was still kind of hooked. Oof. Literally, just destroyed the whole like the tailgate, because like all the weight just like kind of dropped down on it, and it was like, fuck, like you're literally like you're just like, what is this gonna cost me?
Yeah.
My job? How much money? And
so many things going through the guy's mind. He was like,
forklifts are.
Yeah, he was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Don't worry, we have a way to handle this situation. Like, he was just like all over the place.
Wow.
I do feel bad to a point, but now I feel like I'm going to get screwed. And so now I don't feel bad anymore.
Well, it always sucks because, I mean, and that's like why accidents are just such a pain in the ass. It's like, okay, your car's going to get fixed. It might even look better, but it's just the hassle of everything else. It's like, well, do you want a rental car? It's like, not really.
Yeah.
I mean,
and this is my truck. It's like for a business. It's not.
So is it drivable though? Yeah.
There's just a big.
Well, did the back
door
close?
Closes? Yeah, it's like a roll-up door.
Okay.
And there's just a giant hole in there. You could like throw stuff in there.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to open that. You can just crawl through the hole. And...
I mean, it's not that big, but enough damage has been done, and it's like. It's not something that you just like can take the part off and replace it. It's like frame damage, so it's like bent, and I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know. It's just been on my head all week. So
I got you, my friend. Speaking of damage, let me tell you about some damage to my wallet. No, so when's the last time you went to an arcade?
An arcade? I don't think it was that long ago.
Okay. So there's a place kind of by me. It's called Main Event, which they're like a new, well, not even newer. They've been around for a while, but like a newer. Newer, but
they have bowling. They have arcade.
Yes.
They have pool.
They have laser tag. They have ropes courses,
golf,
things like this.
Mini golf.
So my daughter Natalie went to a birthday party last weekend. And I got there a little bit early because their party was running behind, so they were still playing laser tag. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll go play some games while I'm waiting. And now I'm an idiot, and I'm the one who decided to pick. Yeah, end of story.
Yeah,
but I put way too much money on the card. That was my fault. But it was also just like, you know what? I have no idea what the kids are going to get. So when Natalie uses up whatever her card is from the birthday, we can just play them. And we just love playing arcade games. So now this goes without saying. And Nick, if you're listening, I apologize. I know you work in an arcade. I've worked in an arcade. I worked in an arcade for 6 years. So I know like the ins and outs. And this isn't like mind-breaking or mind-blowing information, that the scam aspect that comes behind it. So, yeah, what pisses me off is that I won a jackpot on a game that set on the side 750 tickets, okay? Remember this. I won the jackpot. Sat there for a while. And now this is the thing with arcades now, too. Most of them don't have tickets anymore. Everything just goes straight onto your card. Yeah. So you don't know if it's being accurate or not, because it's like, how is it? I don't know. That's technology for you. Anyway, 750 points. So then I play many other games, while I'm still waiting for this party, and it's also just like, you know what, I want some candy. So I spent like $40 on these fucking things, and it's
what
just
a
like,
life you lead.
I know, just waiting for Natalie to finish. I keep like looking over, hoping they're not done yet. But the thing is, and then so her and her friend get done. She comes over, they're playing, and one of those giant claw games, like they make these things like human size now.
Yeah,
you know,
I've
like you can literally climb inside of them.
I've seen them where like the human is the claw. They strap you up, and you can pick up
like in a harness.
Yeah,
that's pretty dope. But so Natty was playing this one where it had a bunch of like kind of, they almost looked like when you're racking like a for
pool
billiard, like the whatever that triangle thing
pool
is
rack.
called, a pool rack. And they just they're plastic like that, and it just says on the side, 500 tickets, 250 tickets, 1,000 tickets, whatever. So you pick these things up. If you get it, that's what you get. It's just a bonus. So Natalie had a 500 and two 250s. So she had 1,000 points right there.
Okay.
On top of all the other ticket games she played, we go to cash in our stuff. She has exactly 1,000 tickets, and I have 700. So 50 less than the jackpot I won, plus the probably 1,000 others. And it's like, I literally was like, you gotta be you know, like, I was just like, I wasn't gonna argue about this, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, this, I was pissed.
So let me ask, what does 1,750 tickets get you?
Oh, probably like 4 bags of Skittles. but I mean, still, though, it's the whole principle. Yeah. And then, again, Natty literally had the 4 things added up that were 1,000 points. It's like, so she got 0 tickets from all the other games she was playing. So, yeah, it just drove me nuts. And but arcade games these days, man, they're pretty fucking dope. Like, there's a lot of
they're cool looking.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like you're like playing in them.
Well, there's a lot of VR ones. I tried playing a Jurassic Park one. I don't know if it was just kind of like half out of order because it wasn't like it was really bad. But yeah, no, I haven't. Actually, I was gonna say I haven't been to an arcade in a while. No, we went to the world famous Enchanted Castle.
Oh,
like
nice.
a month or 2 ago. That was pretty.
We were gonna go to Dave and Buster's recently, and we didn't. And then there was another place that was close to like the Schaumburg Woodfield Mall, but the streets, not
the GameWorks, right?
I think it was GameWorks, and then they closed it.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was to like make a better GameWorks or if somebody else just like bought their stuff.
GameWorks might not be a company
like
anymore.
John's Games or whatever it is. But I think they opened something up there and in like Woodfield Mall as well. We just keep putting it off. But yeah, I'm in. I like it. I like those things.
Yeah, no,
but yeah, they're a ripoff.
Yeah,
they always have been, and they always will be.
Well, and it's tougher now that, like I said, with these cards, it's a lot easier, and there's less coin jams, things like that. Again, like I said, I worked at an arcade for many years, so I know about all these kind of problems with ticket jams, coin jams, things like this. The cards are so much easier, but again, it's like
easier is not better though.
I know, but you'll see it, and it's like how much for this? It's like 7.3 credits. Yeah. Like, and it's like, why can't it just be 3 tokens?
See, like, what happens? We have all this stuff that we're trying to improve. We're constantly, as a world, trying to improve and get better, and this will be better, and this will be better. And the tickets, we're gonna put the tickets on the game. You don't get real tickets anymore because there were problems with the ticket. No, I like it. Give me the ticket. Let me count the stuff out, right? But what happens when we get to a point where everything is perfectly done and we don't have any more problems with anything? What a boring world to live with. You know, give me a ticket jam. I want to see some guy sweating. I was at this episode last week. I was sweating the entire episode. It looked like I was like on the run. Yeah, it was just because I'm fat.
It had the runs.
Whatever, it had the runs. But it's just like I like problems. I like having jams.
Well, that keeps us with jobs. You know? Yeah, because that's a good point.
I'll tell you what, eternal happiness doesn't sound good. Like, you need some misery to enjoy the happiness even more. What, are you just going to be like, yep, everything's good, always? No. I don't know. I'm sorry I took it that way. It popped into my head.
No, that's all right, man.
That's I guess that's what a podcast is for. Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I assume you're done with the arcade stuff.
I am.
Okay.
I needed the groundbreaking information that arcades are a scam.
You did something this week that really offended me. Okay. You sent me a link to the most recent Rise Against album.
Oh, okay.
And I listened to it, right? I'm an open book. I loved Rise Against's first 2 albums. I think they're some of the best punk albums I've ever heard. And then I kind of dipped out, right? thank you guys. Thank you for your service. I will be over here.
Peace.
I'll listen to you. I'll give you a listen. But I listen to the newer albums. I listen to 3 songs. I go, this isn't for me. I can see that it's changed. You sent me this album. They put it out, I think, in 2021, maybe 2022, somewhere around there.
1 or 2.
I listened to it. There were a couple bangers on there, as the kids call them. Mm-hmm. Also, the British people. That's what they call their food. Bangers. And
in
mash.
The mouth.
No, and mash. But anyway, so I listened to it and I was like, okay, there's a couple good songs on here. They're not making it on my playlist. They're not that good, right?
Yeah.
But they were good songs, and I was like, oh yeah, you can hear remnants of stuff. And I'm not going to go in on Rise Against that, whatever. It was okay. I made sure to listen to the entire album instead of listening to 3 songs and then being like, I'm done with this. I listened to the whole thing. There's a song here, song over there, song over here. Then there was a lot of stuff I didn't like.
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter. We've also talked recently about Less Than Jake, and kind of the same thing as they've gone, they've gotten older and they put out a lot of stuff, and there's songs you can pick here or there. So the question that I had for you that came to my mind from all of this was like, nowadays when you listen to something, I don't know what it's like for you to find new music, like a new band or whatever, and what that takes and how you find new music and that kind of stuff. Okay. So if you had the option, what is higher on your list to listen to? Is it a Rise Against or Less Than Jake or insert band here that's been around a long time that you like and you want to hear the new stuff that they're putting out, even though you know it's not going to be their greatest, but you're familiar with them and you know them and you like them and you want to hear what the new thing is? Or are you more interested in hearing like a completely unknown band, but you know they're a punk band, or you know they're like a melodic hardcore, you hear that word and you're like, okay, that's what I listen to? What are you more likely to listen to first out of those two things? Like, are you into finding new music, or are you more into like, I have my stuff and let me just hear what they're putting out?
Yeah, probably the second one. No surprise there. More with just like, what can this band that I already know?
The established band that's
because I was just thinking about that. I do listen to a lot of music at work. I have that liberty to have like a headphone in all day, which is nice. So I do get to test out and listen to a lot of stuff that like the other day I told you I was listening to the Blue Meanies, who I'm not that familiar with, and I was listening to, I think it was Full Throttle. It's like, this is a dope album. I like it. And then I even put on the Blue album by Weezer, just because I was kind of like, it's been a long ass time. Same thing. I mean, like I just like the first song. Is it My Name Is Jonas? Yeah. That one just immediately for me is like, oh no. Oh, really? But then it's like other ones that kind of bring it back up. Okay. But anyway, and it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because I think on one of our first episodes I was talking about the new Strung Out album, how I was kind of bummed that, yes, like Rise Against, like Less Than Jake, it's like you can tell a band is kind of going downward. I've listened to that enough times now that I'm actually like, I enjoy it. Okay. But it's still my least favorite album by them. And I could say it's like, there's a big gap in between that one and then probably the next bit, because like it was, but I think part of that is just me forcing myself, and it's like being like, you like this band, you like them,
keep giving it the shot.
And it's heavy enough, it's got some fast stuff, so it's good enough, but it's just not a very good strung out album.
I'm to the point where I'm the opposite. I would much rather listen to a band that I've never heard of and just see if I like it. Okay. And I go through a lot of trash that I do not like, and just I never listen to again or whatever. But like, I feel like I'm let down so much by these bands that I used to like, that let down is kind of a harsh word. I don't know if it's like legitimately let down, but it's just like, I kind of know what I'm getting. I would be shocked if, Rise Against put out an album and I'm like, this is the greatest album of all time. But it happens. Like, we counterpunched. Yep. I told you, that last album to me is still, that album is better than the last Rise Against album to me.
I agree there too.
I love that album.
Well, I talked about it on the show earlier, weeks back too, the new Bayside. Like I said, like to me, that's their best album, and it's like their 10th album. But
it is it's an interesting question. I thought you would go that way because you're an old head when it comes to music. You're an old head. That's what the young kids call it.
Well,
bangers and old heads.
I think I sent that to you though, and in the text I was like, check this album out. There's a few bangers, and it's like, is that what they say? Yeah. But to me though, I could kind of go the other way too with like what you're saying as far as new music, because a lot of new music to me would be like the Blue Meanies, checking out bands that it's like,
that you never listened to
Yeah,
before,
bands that it's like in our group of friends, because obviously we listen to a lot of the same music, a lot of punk, a lot of ska, a lot of hardcore, but there's tons of bands that you listen to that I'm like, you know what, I've never, like Leftover Crack is right in that genre, of bands that we like.
Yeah.
And it's like, that I've never listened to them. I just never. And the Blue Meanies, it's like, listening through that, I've definitely recognized a few songs I probably heard on comps or whatever, or maybe you putting it at the end of Bitter Marks. But, yeah, so I don't know. I guess that's kind of sometimes new music for me when I'm just checking out a band that, like, my brother's been like, dude, check this out. It's been, whatever. Yeah. So,
okay.
I don't know. I think I kind of went off the rails on that.
No. That was good. That was good. Yeah, it was just, I was wondering. I kind of had a feeling that's the way you would have gone, but I don't know completely. So, anything else you have before we get into what we're putting inside of each other?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, because I got something before we do it. I got a surprise.
Did you get me more Crocs?
I can't afford them. No,
Okay.
I apologize. We're gonna play the first game we've ever played on this podcast.
Okay, awesome.
Okay,
I'm excited.
I've decided to bring something new. Let's see what we can do. I have a feeling we're gonna play this game a lot, right?
Okay.
Because it's
It's just tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
No one can even
No
see
one
it.
can
It's
see
like,
it. And so I'm excited to play it. I'm excited. You have to know who's watching the show. That's one thing me and you have to be aware of.
Okay.
And so I kind of said, you know what? The people are going to love this game.
All right.
This is a game I'm calling Serbian Basketball Player or Yugoslavian War Criminal. Let's hear it.
I love it.
Let's hear it. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the rules. I'm going to show you a picture, and then you have to tell me whether the person is a Serbian basketball player or a Yugoslavian war criminal. Now, here's the thing. There's old guys, there's young guys. You're going to... It's not going to be as straightforward
Okay, these are
as you
obviously
think.
you're not going to show me a guy in a basketball jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
And to kind of like even the playing field here, I'm also including basketball coaches in the mix because they're older guys, so it might throw you off a little bit.
Alrighty.
So let's start it off. I'm not going to show the camera the picture. I'm going to put it on later.
Okay.
So here we go. First and foremost, let me see if I got this right here. All right. Here's your first picture. This guy right here. Serbian basketball player or Yugoslavian war criminal?
Looks kind of like Meatloaf, actually. I'm going to say that this guy's got like some... I'm going to say basketball coach.
Okay, you hold it up to the camera while I read who this is. This is Ratko Mladic. He is a Bosnian Serb, former military officer and convicted war criminal who led the army of Serbia during the Yugoslav wars. In 2017, found guilty of committing war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide by the International Criminal Tribunal and the former Yugoslavia. He is serving a life sentence for these crimes in The Hague, which is in Netherlands. By the way, interesting story. One time on an airplane, I sat in the same airplane. They were in first class. I was not. To Slobodan Milosevic's wife. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Okay, it doesn't matter, but that's just for Hattori Hanzo.
Okay.
He's a historian, so he'll like it.
So not a basketball player.
Not a basketball player, but I love the effort.
All right.
All right, here's
What do you
number
got
two.
next? Here we
Here's
go.
number two.
Okay.
Right? Let me take this so I'm not confusing
So-
myself.
When I got it wrong, you can insert that.
Yeah, I won't, but I could.
Just, yeah.
Here's number two. There you go. And then when you have your answer, you hold it to the camera and then let me know what you think it is.
I think this guy, I don't know, maybe he's channeling, and also if I keep saying basketball player, I'll be right. So I'm going to say, yeah, this guy looks like he's got his game face on about 40 years later, but still, I'm going to say this is a basketball player or coach.
Okay. Interesting here. This is Ratko Mladic. It is the same guy as the first picture. This is the same person. He's just a little bit older.
But now he's a basketball coach.
No, still a war criminal, but the same guy right there. So, absolutely love it. 0 for 2, which means you now cannot win the $1 million prize.
Damn it.
However, you may win one crock. One crock. All right. Next up for you, I have this gentleman. It is a smaller picture because I felt like printing it smaller.
This dude.
What describe this man? What is it?
Well, it's a bald man, and I
aerodynamic.
It's hard to tell because like he's kind of tilted his head, so I can't tell if the ears are the same size. But he does kind of look like the bad guy from True Lies.
Okay,
minus the hair. So I'm gonna say that this guy's a war criminal.
All right, hold up this picture. This is an interesting one.
Please tell me he's both.
Is Siniša Đurđić, who lives in Tucson, Arizona.
And currently plays for the Phoenix Suns.
Was convicted earlier this month by a federal jury on charges of credit card fraud.
All right.
Credit card fraud.
Okay.
And attempted unlawful procurement of citizenship. Right. So he is now serving a 70-month term for those things.
Okay.
Not for being a war criminal.
All right.
However, according to the Department of Justice, he served in the Bosnian and Herzegovina Brigade and then left from over there to Arizona to avoid prosecution for being a war criminal.
Excellent. All right.
So technically, now I don't have what it says. Đurđić has denied serving in foreign military and police units. So he said no, but other people are pointing the finger and saying, yes, he was in the unit that abused us and he is a war criminal. However, he never served anything for being a war criminal. He's in prison for credit card fraud and the citizenship thing. So I don't even know. I think that makes you wrong. I think you're 0 for 3.
Okay.
Although it was an unfair question.
But he's not a basketball player, though, correct?
Correct.
All right.
But you didn't say that. You called him a war criminal. You didn't say he's not a basketball player.
I think I get a half point.
I'll give you a half.
All right.
I'll give you a half. All right. Next up. This is a fun one.
Okay.
Look at this man. This is a great game. I'm pretty. I don't know how well this transfers over, but I'm having a blast.
I'm looking at these pictures, and I'm like, okay, what is this person doing right now? It looks like he's either talking, he's doing a presser, so he's talking into a mic, so it could be a basketball player, or his head is lowered in shame because he was just convicted. You know what? This guy is a basketball player.
This is Vladimir Radmanovic. Serbian basketball player. Played for Crvena Zvezda, Red Star. He also played for the Seattle Supersonics, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Charlotte Bobcats, the Golden State Warriors, the Atlanta Hawks, and you should know him because he was a Chicago Bull as well. This is Vladimir Radmanovic. He also represented the Yugoslavia national team in 2002 when we beat the United States in the quarterfinals on our way to winning the gold. Winning the world championships.
Okay.
So Vladimir Radmanovic, congrats.
Thank you.
You got one.
1.5.
And then the last one for you here.
Right, big money.
Big money.
Here we go.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This man.
Oh, man.
Serbian basketball player or Yugoslavian war criminal.
This looks like Ben Affleck as Phil Knight in that movie Air.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. Good call.
Oh man, I mean, or like Bob Vila a little bit. This one seems too easy to be a. This dude,
he's kind of smiling as well.
Yeah, this dude is a piece of shit war criminal.
I mean, you may be right, but that is actually Yakov Smirnoff, comedian extraordinaire.
It's exactly what I meant. War criminal.
War criminal Yakov Smirnoff. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Huge piece of shit.
By the way, he should have played Phil Knight or whatever in the movie then, because it exactly looks like him.
Did you see that movie?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, it does. You're right.
That's awesome.
Okay, that was fun. We had a good time.
That's good. I'll try to come up with something.
I don't know how good that's going to
transfer
to the audio side of this podcast, but I had a great time, and that's really all that matters on this podcast.
Damn right.
So now let's get to what we are putting inside ourselves. What you got inside you this week?
All right.
Love these Crocs, by the way. These are fantastic.
Yeah, they're cool. My buddy Sasha got these for me.
Good guy.
Thanks, man. All right. Yeah, just some older stuff here. Nothing brand new. I went and I watched, kind of like you did with the Mad Max movies a few weeks back. I did that with the John Wick movies. I watched John Wick 1 through 4. Have you seen the John Wick movies?
No, was it you who was saying I need to watch these next?
All right. So I might as well give you this disclaimer.
Okay.
The first one is an hour and 49 minutes.
All right.
The last one is 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah.
Every movie gets longer in between here. And the fourth one is so fucking ridiculously long that it's like, it kind of takes... I watch... If you're not going to watch all of them, watch the first two at least.
Okay.
They're very violent movies, yes, but a lot of it is just like quick headshots, so it's not like very personal, like and gory and whatnot. But Keanu Reeves, who, you know, they call it like the Keanu since whatever, like the Renaissance basically of him, because he was huge back in the day, you know, with the Matrix movies and whatnot, and Bill and Ted, and then kind of fell off for a while. And I think these John Wick movies brought his career back, because even when I watched the first John Wick, it was a while after it was like out of theaters, and I just kept hearing people saying how good it was. So I watched it and it was like, this is incredible. And yeah, they're super fun movies. A lot of like the choreography is incredible. I love Keanu as this character, but I still think he's a terrible actor.
Okay.
I don't know, even like movies like not Interview with the, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, things like that. It's like, I don't care. He's not a good actor. He's a very charming dude. He's very likable, and I love these movies, and I love Keanu, but he's a shitty actor. Okay.
I like my buddy Putski, I believe, is a big fan of the John Wick movies.
Yes. Shout out to Putski.
Shout out to Putski, but he's told me there's a lot of killing and all that stuff, which is not really my cup of tea. And then you told me, and actually I already knew, like, the premise of the movie is, like, this all happens because someone kills his dog or whatever. Which, that takes 2 stars immediately off the top for a dead dog.
I would say maybe I should, like, tell you when to start the movie, because that is a sad scene, and it's like, damn. Because in some movies it's kind of brushed by. It's like, in this one, it's like, man, they showed us too much.
So for those reasons, I would probably have never watched this. Yeah. But because you're bringing it up, I'd at least commit to the first one and then make a decision to go on from there.
I mean, this one, it's like there's not much change. It's just another, like...
Are they all the same movie?
They're essentially, yeah. So it's like in this one, it's like the Italian mob in this. But it's like this whole world that they've created with like this world of assassins. It's so like, it's interesting, but it's also so just like messy. By the fourth one, it's like all these new stupid rules that they just keep introducing to this world. It's like, I know it sounds a little confusing. It's like, oh, they're just assassins. It's like, no, this is like a huge like world that they have created where it's like, yeah, there's... So definitely watch the first one. I think you'll enjoy it. And then the second one is really good too. But all right, and then also it's kind of funny because you were talking about bangers in the mouth. Remember, you said banger in the mouth. Made me think of...
I said bangers in MASH. You said banger in the mouth.
Made me think of Miss Featherbottom from Arrested Development, which is the character that Tobias Bluth plays. And I've been watching season 5 because I never finished it.
Yes.
And I still haven't finished it because it's a slog. Yeah. It really is. And I'm enjoying it, but it's funny because... So when season 5 came out, they split it in half. So the 8 came out, then there was like a few months, and then the second 8 came out. We never finished. We only saw the first half. Mm-hmm. So I went back to start over, and I'm watching that again, and right now I'm exactly where we left off before. And it's like, so some of the things with it, what's her name? Lindsay, Portia de Rossi, not in it. If you watch it, you can tell she's green screened in the scene she's in, and it looks bad. I believe she was in the scenes where it's like the whole family, but that's it. So she's mostly not in it, and she's like one of the biggest parts of the storyline because she's running for Congress.
It's like a strung out album that's gone on too far. You're like, I gotta pick the good things out of it.
That's what
but it's not what it used to be.
Like Will Arnett, I don't know if he just forgot how to be that character, but he is not funny. And the storyline that carried over from like season 4, I think it was, with Tony Wonder, where they're gay now, it just completely consumes his whole character, and it's not funny. George Sr. I didn't think was very funny, and then Tobias has some really stupid storyline going on where he's still trying to like make a document. It's just like every time you see him, it's like more. I don't know, but what I do like about it though is like the different cameos. Like that was Adam Ray, the one I sent you the picture of, and it's like I'm not used to seeing him not as Dr. Phil, but I mean even some of the other like the guys, the Workaholics, those 3 guys, they were in an episode from season 4, and I just like John Krasinski was in one episode. Yeah, I just love people that probably were just like, hey, can I just be on the show just for, but.
Yeah, so it's not like the greatest. I watched it recently, like within the past, let's say 2 years. I started from the beginning and went all the way through. And like towards the end, slog is the perfect word because you're like, I don't want to continue this, but I'm going to continue this. And then it gets to the end and you're like, okay, I did it. Yeah. It was fine.
See, the thing for me right now is that in the show, one of the problems I would say, but I feel like it was easier to follow back then, is very convoluted. The storytelling is always like, oh, but he was in the corner over here and he saw it happen from this angle while he was doing it. And it's like, okay, this is clever writing, but it's too much at times. It's like not every single story has to be like, you know. And I will say, if anyone who hasn't watched Arrested Development, watch the first 3 seasons and just call it a day. Like, because even at the end of season 3, when it got canceled, that's a good enough ending.
I do think if you haven't watched it and you watch the first 3, you're going to want to watch the other ones because you're like, it's so good. Like, if you like it. Yeah. You're like, it's so good, I have to continue it. But then you're going to continue it and you're going to be like,
well,
like
4,
breathing heavily. And
I remember 4, one of the big problems is that they couldn't get everyone together. So if you watch that, every episode is focused on one character. And even if you watch the opening credits, it tells you right away who the episode's about. And then instead of everything being his niece, his mom, like talking about Michael, it shifts to that person, which is very clever. So when it's about maybe, now it's like her uncle, her grandma, her cousin. But yeah, and that was a big detriment because it was a lot of, like camera chicks, like I was talking about with Lindsay. Why is there a towel over her head? It's just like they pick stupid reasons to just be able to have like a stand in there, you know. And so I just I have to finish it though. I have 8 more episodes that I gotta finish it so I can finally say I'm done with it. But,
and then Night Court.
Yeah, I got to get to that one of these days too. So that's all I got.
Okay, I got 4 things this week actually.
Okay.
First and foremost, I went to see Beetlejuice.
Nice.
So I talked about the first one, seeing it a couple weeks ago. Went to see the new one in the theater. Didn't have very much.
What's the last movie you guys went to before that? Like, how often do you go to the movies?
Priscilla,
Queen of the Desert,
Elvis's wife.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then the one before that, Titanic 20-year anniversary in 3D, which is the greatest movie of all time. Of all time.
Titanic 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's up there. It's true. I haven't seen the like Halloween or horror one. It might be too scary, but but anyway, Beetlejuice. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I saw the first one. I enjoyed the first one. I'm coming to realize that I'm not a fan of these like 30-year apart sequels. Yeah. But this one I was okay with.
Okay.
I watched it. The first half of it, I was kind of like, it's not for me. Like, this is what I originally thought Beetlejuice was going to be, which is like a little too gross, a little too whatever. Yeah. And like, because it's made now, they can make it like grosser.
You can get away with more.
Yeah.
Like when he like spills his guts, literally. It's like, wow, that looks really good.
That's not for me.
Whereas like, in the first one, it would have been practical and it would have been more like, okay, that was fun. Yeah. But now it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. And so that's what I didn't like about the movie. What I did like is that like, I actually enjoyed the rest of the movie. It was funny. You get to see the people who were in it before. Now they're older. You know how the first one had the scene with the song and the dinner that everybody knows. And then this time around, it was at a different point with a different song. You knew it was coming. I
didn't like that, though, in this one. I thought it was like too long. It was like the entire song.
I knew that it was going to be bigger. Like I felt like it was going to be bigger. They were going to try to make it bigger than the first one, but I enjoyed it. I didn't have any problem with it. The way that it ended, all that kind of stuff, the whole story, I was fine with it. It's not a movie I'm going to like watch again anytime soon, but I thought it was okay. And for being 30 years since the first one, it kind of is in that same realm where you're like, okay, if they made this after 3 years, it would have been something. Now, 30 years, it's still too long, but I didn't not enjoy it.
Yeah. No, it's still, it's got the same, like, aesthetic, the same feel to the first one. And what I talked about, I think, when I talked about seeing it a couple weeks ago, that Michael Keaton, like, you can tell he's not as vibrant, but they can cover up so much of that.
Yeah.
You know, with the paint. So it's like, this is perfect.
Did you bring up him, like, walking down the stairs or something like that?
I don't think so.
So, like, there's a thing where he's, like, walking down the stairs, and you kind of feel like maybe he's, like, an older man.
Okay.
Like I was trying to watch him a little bit more because of the stuff that you said.
Yeah.
And it was kind of even the voice sounded
the voice
a little bit
a
off.
lot more like older guy.
Yeah.
And that's actually goes back to what I was talking about with the rest of Development. I feel like Will Arnett, even for a little bit, his voice, like, after that many years, got deeper.
Yeah, it makes sense. It was okay. I enjoyed it. Let me ask you a question. Winona Ryder or Natalie Portman? Who do you like better? Because I see them as kind of a similar... I don't know why, but to me, like, they remind me of each other.
Like... 90s Winona Ryder.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know.
I don't even know if it's a good question. It's just what came to my mind.
That's just for me a weird comparison.
Winona Ryder is an interesting actress. Like, her voice, the way that she talks. You know, like, I have a shitty voice. Winona Ryder's voice for acting
Winona Ryder
is
at times can seem like a bad actor because of the way. I think that's
the voice.
Because like in Stranger Things. No, actually, I don't even know if I'd recommend that for you because it's like.
I've tried watching a little bit of it and it's not
okay. Her character on that is there are times when I'm like, is she just a bad actor now? But then it's like, no, I just think that's how she's always been. It's like her inflection sometimes. It's like, that's a very interesting point though.
But yeah, when we went to the theater, we were like, when was the last time we were here? And we were trying to figure it out. And I was like, oh, Priscilla. And I was like, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a couple months.
Yeah.
I've also watched a different movie. This was on Netflix. It's called Incoming. Have you seen this?
No.
Have you heard about this? It's like young people. I think it's like... So the two writers were on a podcast called We Might Be Drunk, which is a podcast I listened to with Mark Norman and Sam Morril.
Not Mark Maron.
Not Mark Maron.
Okay.
Who's
the other guy? Sorry.
Sam Morril. Okay. Another New York comedian. They're both excellent. So they had these writers on their podcast, and they were like, these guys are trying to make kind of another Superbad type, where it's like almost a, like raunchy, but for high school age kids movie or whatever. So like most of the movie is surrounded by high school children or whatever. The mom of one of the kids is Sweet Dee from Always Sunny.
Okay.
And I wish she was in it more because she was good.
She's amazing.
She's excellent. And they should have used her way more in this movie because she was funny in the parts that she was in, but she was only in like a little at the beginning and a little bit at the end. The movie in itself was fine. I would not recommend it. I feel bad saying that because it's like somebody put work into this.
Oh, but there's nothing. I mean,
it's like a teenage movie more so. They put in like those couple scenes where it's like, this is going to be the one that you remember. It was like someone with diarrhea in a car, and so it's all over the car. And like, I don't want to watch that now. When I was 18, I would have been like, oh my god, he put his penis in a pie or whatever. You know what I mean? Well, it's the same type of thing. Like that style of movie. So if you want to watch like that, but with a newer age, okay, fine. But even the way the movie ended didn't sit well with me. I'm not going to say how it did, but there was like singing involved. I'm like, stop with the singing. I don't need singing. I don't need musicals. Musicals out of here. I have more respect for Bruce Springsteen than I have for musicals. And I have no respect for Bruce Springsteen.
Are you going to see the new Joker movie, though? I think it's a musical.
I've been turned off because enough people are like, it's music heavy or whatever.
And you also just saw the trailers.
I haven't seen the trailer.
I didn't really care for the first one. I know you thought it was
I liked the first one. I'm going to try to watch the second one, but I have a feeling I'm not going to get very far.
Chances are, first available free copy, I'll watch it. Just because I have to. I watch all the superhero movies, but...
And then I also watched two stand-up shows this week. So the first specials this week. First was Chad Daniels, Empty Nester. It's on Netflix. I've always been a Chad Daniels fan. He's from Minnesota. He's edgy comedian, but like very smart, very funny, kind of stories wise. I think you'd like him. He's not extremely dirty or anything like that. He's just a very, very good comedian. And this whole special was kind of about his kid has moved out, and so now he's an empty nester.
Okay.
Also, I believe he was divorced at the time, so like complete empty nester. So he's like playing video games again and stuff.
Huge Delta Burke fan too.
Massive Delta Burke fan, and then massive Delta Burke, and a lot of Delta Burke references in Married with Children, by the way, like making fun of her weight.
Oh, I don't. I was talking about Empty Nest, the show that she used to be on. Was that her?
Designing
that was her, right?
Women.
Wasn't she on Empty Nest also?
I think she was designing women. I don't know.
All right, anyway.
Megan will let us know in a very aggressive way shortly. But so yeah, Chad Daniels, Empty Nester, highly recommend. Very funny. And then the other one that I recommend because I think it's very funny, but I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time watching it. It's Blair Socci. She's tremendous. She's very, very funny. It's spelled Socci. Live from the Big Dog on YouTube. It's 40 minutes. She is a regular opener for Anthony Jeselnik and Theo Von. And this, weirdly enough, at the end of this, there were rolling credits, and it said produced by Joel and Benji Madden.
Oh.
A Good Charlotte, which was very weird. But Blair Socci is like, she used to be a volleyball player, so she's like kind of built or whatever. She's like, I don't know. Not that matters or whatever.
She has an athletic build.
But her like presentation as a person, her voice is very like screechy. A lot of people think it's annoying.
Okay.
I don't think it's annoying. And she goes from up here to, and it's like monster growling almost. Okay. Her jokes are incredible, very, very funny. But I think it's one of those things where it's like you have to be able to get past that. The presentation of it, but super original, super like out there comedy. I loved it, and it's 40 minutes, so it's not like a tough watch. You know, it's not an hour and 10 minutes that you're putting into it. So it's on YouTube, just got put up there. So, yeah.
Well, that's funny. Actually, are you done?
I'm finished.
When I had to real quick, I wrote down the Mick. That's Caitlin Olsen, who you were talking about from Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of this show?
Is this new?
No.
Okay. No.
So she was on this show called The Mick. It was on Fox. Only one season. Had some great. Kirk Fox was in it a few episodes.
Do I have to bleep this out?
No. Because her name, her name is like Mickey, I think.
Oh, okay.
You know, but it's also she might be Irish too. They might play that out. You know, but anyway, she's essentially playing Sweet D, but it is like she's taking over. Or her sister and husband are like. They get arrested for fraud or something, so she has to take over and like kind of become the kids like parent, and the kids suck, but they live in this like amazing mansion and everything. So it's just like I said, it's almost Sweet D, but just in a different role, and it's hysterical. It only went one season, so it might be on Hulu. Like I said, it was on Fox. And then the other thing you just mentioned him. I forgot I was watching Jeselnik. I forgot which. Netflix one, but it's one that starts off. I won't say the whole joke, but you'll know it. It's the one with. My buddy's wife called and said that I'm a bad influence.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe the best joke like ever.
Yeah,
like,
doesn't he say that after?
Yeah,
he's
just like that's the best opening joke. Yeah, so he's fantastic. Yeah,
yeah, that's a joke that he comes out, and if you've never seen him, you'd know exactly what the rest of the show is now. You're like. Oh,
because that's the whole thing. Is like it's almost like you're like M. Night Shyamalan, the director. Like he had the twist endings. Yeah. With Jeselnik, you're just like, all right, where's he? Nope, didn't see that.
Except he's significantly better than that guy. Because I just hear people crap on all of the rest
of
his movies.
I'm just using.
I know.
The twist. No,
but yeah, Jeselnik. Like I've been a fan for a long time of his, and in the last year, I became even more of a fan seeing him do it live. And like, yeah. Yeah, it's just everything is top notch.
It's just crazy to me.
He doesn't have a bad special. He doesn't have a bad album. His TV show is funny, and you get to see him in a little bit different of a way.
Okay.
Where he's like dressing in like fat suits and stuff like that.
About that.
Yeah.
But I just his on stage thing. I don't know. I just find him amusing. Like the whole like the tongue. You know, like the.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of stuff like that in between jokes, and just how he has to basically like kind of.
It almost feels like I don't want to say Andrew Dice Clay, like that's a very like different type of reference or whatever, but like the persona of him is very just
walking back and forth.
Yeah,
it's like he's a cool cat. Like he looks good up there. So, all right, well, you ready for our top 3 this week?
Yes. What are we doing this week?
All right, this week we're doing our top 3 hunks from the 90s. This could be TV or movie or music or I don't know, war criminals.
Let me tell you, I had a tough time picking only 3. I was all about the hunks.
Dude, I have more potent notables on this list than I did with the hot babes from the 90s. So, all right. Why don't you go ahead and start us off with your number 3?
All right, I'm starting out with my number 3. Number 1 in my heart and number 3 on my list, Joey Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. You got to go with Joey Lawrence, Blossom. I also had his cassette. He was a music guy for a while back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Who wasn't?
Still a handsome man, although I think he has a shaved head now, or had a shaved head something.
Yeah, it's good-looking guy with a shaved head.
So, yeah, I mean, not too much to say. I don't know how deep into these I can describe things, but Joey Lawrence, so we'll go number 3.
I'm going to possibly get you in trouble here with Megan. Were you a fan of 6?
Oh, yeah.
Jenna Bonaway.
Yeah, you're going to get yourself in trouble for bringing up 6 in the house.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Crap.
Megan already knows.
Man, how many times will I be uninvited to this home?
Yeah.
All right, my number 3 is, I can't remember the actor's name, but it's Eric Matthews from Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of them on here. The Hunky Idiots.
Will Friedle?
Yes, sounds right.
All right.
Yes, I just thought he was always incredible, and then he was in this movie called The Trojan War. Did you ever see that one?
No.
With Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Marley Shelton, I think. But it was like what he was trying to get laid. It was almost like an American Pie type movie, but Jennifer Love Hewitt, when she was at the height of her babedom as well.
Long hair or short hair, Eric?
Oh, in the movie he's long hair.
No. Which one makes your list?
Probably long hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Boy Meets World went 9 seasons or whatever it was, he became the best part at least halfway through.
Yeah, because him and Mr. Feeney, they just became a very unlikely but very likable.
Yeah, and Corey and Topanga went downhill. Yeah. Everybody's like, all right, you guys are
I remember the dad. I forgot what his name was, but he was in the movie American History X.
Yeah, he's 70-something years
old
now. Well,
it was just weird because in that movie he played a very racist dad, and you were just like, what the fuck? In the middle of what Boy Meets World, and it's he just did this role, and it was like, oh my god, he's terrifying.
And the big guy too.
Yeah, Ethan, good call. Yeah, Ethan
also
Suplee,
in Boy Meets World,
who's our size now.
Yeah. And the dad, I rewatched Boy Meets World completely 2 months ago, and the dad in that show does and says some stuff that I don't think you could say now.
Wait, on what?
On Boy Meets World, the dad.
Oh, you're okay. So even back then,
yeah. There's one point where he there's a guy trying to get Sean into a cult or whatever, and
I think I remember that one.
Mr. Turner's in a motorcycle accident, and so Sean's torn, and the other guy's trying to keep him away from it.
Yes, yeah.
And the guy shows up to the hospital, and Corey's dad holds him up against the wall and is like, "I'll kill you, man!"
Jeez.
Threatens him with his life, and you're like, "What is happening on this?" I'm trying to watch Topanga over here, but yeah. I don't know. That's good call. Good call.
Yeah. Eric Matthews is my number 3.
My number 2. Very traditional here. We're going Leonardo DiCaprio. Titanic. Is that 90s?
I think it's 99.
There it is.
There you go.
He made the cut. Growing Pains. I don't know if that was 80s into 90s, but if it was...
By the time he was on the show, I'd say 90s.
Yeah, or at least late 80s or whatever. But then he did all the stuff that he's done. He's Leo.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I did. Yeah,
it's fantastic.
the one scene.
Which one? The last 30 minutes is just
in the house.
Yes, and then him with the flamethrower.
Dude,
the flamethrower.
Great movie.
Yeah, that was another one.
A little long.
It's 3 hours,
but kind of separate stories,
enough
and stuff like that.
Entertaining things that just picks you back up. Yeah. That was one even movie. my brother, my dad, and even my mom is just you haven't seen that.
Yeah.
And that last 20, 30 minutes where you're just what the hell is happening here?
Wild.
But yeah, Leo was incredible, and Brad Pitt.
Was excellent too.
He should be. I should. You know what? Right now, I'm gonna put him on my potent notables because I forgot Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
All right, my number 2. It's Uncle Jesse, baby.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
John Stamos.
John Stamos is still like one of the hottest men alive.
Yeah.
Still a rock star. Still plays with the Beach Boys.
Yeah, they played here close to where we live, 15 minutes from here recently as like a surprise show.
I mean, this dude drove a Harley, played guitar, had Aunt Becky, who was a complete babe.
Oh,
and I mean, like, did you by any chance watch when they rebooted Full House, Fuller House? Did you watch any of that?
I think I at least watched that first season.
Yeah, I did too. And I was kind of surprised, actually. It's just like, all right, they actually made some of these jokes a little more, like, edgy. Because, like, and this one's not edgy, but I just remember he was telling the kid, he's like, yeah, see, now you have to wear helmets. He's like, back in the late 90s, like they didn't care what happened to kids. Like, I don't know, his inflection, the way he told it was great, but yeah, dude, Uncle Jesse is awesome.
Yeah, great call, which leads to my number one, which is a guy who, at Riot Fest recently, they made a butter statue out of this guy.
Okay.
And that is John Stamos, Uncle Jesse, my number one. Because come on.
Absolutely.
How you going to put any... Like, I don't like Greek people in general.
You already hate my number one and you haven't heard it.
I hate all Greek people. I'm saying that as a joke.
I
know you're... Whatever.
You're like, oh, your stupid wife.
But John Stamos, number one. In my heart, number one Greek. Everything. Come on, he's John Stamos. There's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say. I was thinking, who else could it be?
Yeah.
It's John Stamos.
Well, I got two more who could be your number one.
I know you had to pick between two.
Well, I put it's like they're split down the middle. Okay. I had to do that because they're from the same show.
I don't think so.
It's Zach
I think
Morris
you're going to have to pick
AC
one.
Slater.
No.
If I have to pick one, it's Zach Morris.
So then Slater is your number two?
He's like 1.5, we'll say.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I'll let it slide.
So you did ask me a couple weeks ago, like, if I was a Saved by the Bell fan, when I told you his name's Albert Clifford, not air conditioning Slater.
I still think it's air conditioning, and you haven't given me proof that it's not.
Well, that's the hilarious thing about it. It's like he's of Latino descent, and it's like, where does the Albert Clifford come in? I always love that. But no, Zach Morris, come on, man, with the cell phone. He was the first person to have a cell phone in, the world, ever.
If I'm being honest, Zach Morris probably in my top three. Mostly for Rizzoli and Isles or whatever he was in. What was the other one?
He was in... Oh, no, it was something in Franklin and Bash.
And
there
Bash,
you go.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking he was in Rizzoli and Isles for a second.
No. But I knew you were going to have him in, and I was like, let me go a little alternative, and that's why I went Joey Lawrence ahead of him.
Well played.
But yeah, I do think like he's up there for sure.
He was... Did you ever by any chance see the movie Dead Man on Campus?
Definitely not, no.
It was like an MTV movie that came out, and he's Tom Everett Scott. You probably wouldn't know. You might know him if you saw him, but him and Zach Morris I forgot his name in the movie, but they're college roommates who are both like just fuck ups, and they find the loophole that it's like if your roommate commits suicide, you get straight A's. So they're trying to find. Yeah, it's a very dark movie, but it is very funny.
Yeah,
great soundtrack too.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and it's like Mark Paul Gosselaar probably like a few years after they did like the wedding and everything, like when he was done with Saved by the Bell, and it's like, okay, this is when we get to see him foul mouthed and like
what is it called?
It's called Dead Man on Campus.
It's right. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, no, it's
Dead Man on campus. Way before John Wick, I will watch this movie.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. I love it. It's a late '90s movie, so. That's that. I guess Split is my number one, but more so Zach Morris. So
okay,
what do you got for notables? I know you got some.
My potent notables, I have 2.5. I had the Zach versus Slater, but I figured you were going to touch on that. But I literally wrote.
So I took Screech.
I literally wrote Zach versus Slater because I assumed that was going to be the tough decision.
Yeah.
The other one I have. Not my cup of tea, but I just wanted to bring up the name. But Jonathan Taylor Thomas, JTT.
I was thinking that too. Yeah,
not for me, but he
like,
was
that
massive
would be
at that
because
point.
There's another one I have on here too that it could be like Hunk, as in like he was probably on the cover of Tiger Beat. So it's like obviously he's not like a hunk in the sense that he could kick any ass.
And my last potent notable could kick ass and was probably on Tiger Beat. Jean-Claude Van Damme. I assume he was on Tiger Beat.
That's amazing.
Every month.
That's hilarious though, because the person I thought you were gonna say, who I'll start off with, is similar because he's also like a karate guy.
Okay.
Sasha Mitchell.
Oh yeah. Good call.
Yeah.
Very good call.
Of course, and he was like, he was in the. I think he was in like a couple of the kickboxer movies.
Yeah, I think he was in the second one or in the first one, and then they changed him, or he wasn't in the first one, and then he was in the second one. Whatever.
And he was in The Substitute, Part 3 or whatever, and then. The sequel to one of my favorite sci-fi movies, Class of 1999. He's in Class of 1999 too. The Substitute.
Yeah. Excellent.
Awesome. All right, so I got him. Two Davids, Hasselhoff and Charbet, both from Baywatch.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Is Charbet the kid?
He was oh god no. Hobie or Hobie, whatever his stupid name was. No, the kid's name was like Hobie. Kobe. No, David Charvet was. He had like the part down the middle. I forgot what his name is, but he was like he dated all the hot babes on there too. And then what else do I have? Will Smith. Come on.
Will Smith. I was also thinking Will Smith because I was a big Fresh Prince head.
Yeah.
So that was up there for me, but then I said Joey Lawrence. My cup of tea.
Yeah. No, I did. Yeah, Fresh Prince, one of my favorite shows, one of the greatest theme songs of all time.
My wife Megan would be upset that I did not include her favorite, which obviously I shouldn't.
Wait, can you give me a hint?
Black hair. I don't even know his name. I do know his name. I can tell you his first name, and that's all I can really tell you. He was like, I can't really. Andrew
Keegan?
Yeah.
Yep. 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, that's the guy.
When we went to...
She's hearing this right now, and she's getting a little bit warm.
I'm getting back on her good side now.
There you go.
Eric, our buddy, who actually resembles Eric Matthews a lot when...
Okay.
Eric, when he used to have long hair like that, like there was a joke.
Okay.
But he was part of my group for prom, and he actually like on the inside of his tie, he had a sticker of Andrew Keegan. Like I don't even know where he got it from, but I was like, I'll never forget that. It was awesome.
Megan will pay top dollar for that now. So
probably still unwashed. So all right, well that is our list for this week. So let's go ahead and drop the bucket for next week. Let's see what we got.
Here we go.
Full veto power. And
how many of them will you
since
re-pick?
I threw the whole pile back in, I'll probably be pulling all those ones again. So I'm going to try to go a little bit more towards the bottom.
I can't believe we go an hour every week on this thing. Every week I go, we're going to do 30 minutes.
That's what I did last week. No.
All right, 0 for 2.
All right, well, we're going to find a good one.
So please send us your requests. Anything you want us to do a top 3 list, email us, sasaandgoff@gmail.com. Leave something on Instagram. Do whatever you want to do.
All right. This one is like top 3 this and that. I'm just going to pick one since we're only doing 3.
Okay.
We're just going to do our top 3 favorite magazines. Publications.
Okay.
So obviously nothing really... I don't know what still gets published these days, but we'll just say...
I like this because magazines, a lot of people are not fans of magazines. I'm a big magazine guy. Mm-hmm. I still spend way too much money on magazines. Like, I get annual subscriptions because I was spending even more money buying them individually every month or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, I go to Barnes & Noble. There's a Barnes & Noble by us that has, like... The largest wall of magazines I've ever seen. Yeah, the Oakbrook Mall. If you ever go to the Oakbrook Mall, it is absolutely incredible the amount of magazines. I'm talking 1,000. I'll say 1,000 magazines. Okay. You know, like it's insane how many magazines. It's probably like 200, but like
and it's funny too because that's one of that kind of media is something that people still joke about all the time, and it's like still here. Newspapers too. Everyone's just like, oh, dude, it's going to be completely obsolete. It's like, nope, you can't just because some people still. It'll eventually get there. I think it will because
probably
that age will eventually die off. And
it's like if I try to go to a newspaper link. Half the time I get like locked out. You have to sign up and whatever. Yeah. So I still like,
That's hilarious because like whenever I read like TV show reviews from like the New Yorker, it's like I get one. And it's like that's your one for the month. Now you got to sign off. It's like damn it.
All right, so next week top 3 magazines. That's it for this week. We will see you guys next week.
Later.